All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video. We're going to talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. We're going to talk about the whole UI thing that came out briefly, not too much. And I have a hodgepodge of footage here for you because on the right is footage of the game. It's teaser trailer from 3 years ago and change. And on the left is gameplay on Twitter with no HUD. So when you look at the no HUD gameplay and you look at the teaser trailer, I don't think I can see a difference in both of them. If I scale it down for you enough, let's scale it down so maybe you can get, kind of like the picture and kind of see side by side. You'll notice the art style is still very similar. Yes, these are high resolution models, higher texture quality. These are done from a cinematic standpoint, probably not done within the studio, but there's almost no doubt that these assets and even the art that's represented here is designed to showcase exactly what this game was going to be. I mean, yes, these are higher, quality cinematic versions on the right side, but this was done for promotional. This is what studios would do. But when you look at the no HUD gameplay on the left side, I'm kind of shocked as to, how close they are. What this means is this game was marketed with as much genuine intent of what the project is going to be as you could have gotten. There was nothing shady. There was no, this is going to be a surprise. Gotcha. There was none of that in this whole marketing. And Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is specifically that game that is delivering what it is or what it was meant to be. So there are no surprises here. What's surprising is after 3 years of people knowing, having seen what this game was going to be about, the response and the reaction that they're having right now. Like they didn't know. Like this game just came out of nowhere and they're like, wait, what is this game? These people need to stop pretending. Or maybe they're not pretending. Maybe they truly don't know. But, many of the people that are actually in this conversation, they spend their time online actually making it their priority to know about these things. So when I see their reactions and the responses, I have to scratch my head and say, are you really surprised that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is going to be a looter shooter that looks like Fortnite meets Sunset Overdrive, wants to be the Division, blah, 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 all of the categorizations you can give it, and it's a shooter, and it's not anything that would, pretty much, wow you? Like, what are these folk actually saying that, is of any shock or surprise to, people here in the community? And if you've even watched my video and you look at my, track record on this game, I've told, and I keep saying it, if this game is not your game, kindly don't buy it because I really don't want to read your sob story comment of how you expected this in the game and then it disappointed you. You've had enough reason, you've had enough footage, you've had enough information at this point to know exactly where you stand. And this is why the fans that want to actually participate in this game and buy this game did not take the critics seriously. This is why we're laughing at you. I mean, and it's not like we don't want the. It's not like we don't value that there will be criticism or we're saying the game is perfect. No, we know exactly what the game is going to be. So when you are coming around saying this game is this, we're laughing, going, we know, and we're saying if you know you're not gonna be in that framework or frame of mind where you want to experience the game, it'd be best if you stayed away because that will be the very best thing for everyone. We really don't care about your position on live service games and blah, 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 and how it's our problem that games like this. Honestly, I think we're past that conversation. You're not going to change anybody's mind as to, what it is that they're going to spend their money on. You're not really going to change their minds. In fact, the best thing is that everybody would basically make the, purchasing decisions that they feel is best for them. And so when it comes to the conversation of, oh, look at the HUD, and look how much there's so much HUD in the game. I saw that little post. And Jez Corden, he basically memed it and showed his World of Warcraft or some, game that he plays. He showed the HUD of that game that he has open, and it just was way crazy. A lot of people then started laughing it off because it's a non-concern. It is. Maybe the concern of a lot of people is they want to continue to push the narrative that, we don't like live service games. We understand. But let me ask the question, since this narrative of we don't like live service games has been the loudest, how much impact has it even really made in the grand scheme of things? Like, the live service games are still the most played games overall. Like, that's what people are playing. That's what, everybody or most people are actually, putting their time and money into. And even the people who like single player games are buying the live service games because after they beat the single player games, or when they want to move away from the monotony of this, linear storytelling that these single player games can have, they go to the live service games to just basically, have a little bit of fun when it comes to gaming. So there's a place for all these games. There's always been a place for them. But I think the hyper reactionary world that we live in is just high on making it of primary importance to beat on these games because there's this perceived expectation of quality. And Paul Tassi, who is a games journalist, said, even he confessed in his video when he was talking about the previews and stuff, he said, game journalists are somewhat cynical. And this cynical nature is something that Warner Brothers could have avoided. And this is Paul Tassi's recommendation. Even he, a gaming journalist, said that Warner Brothers should have probably just marketed this game from the perspective of making it where the gamers themselves will be the ones that push the narrative. So the NDA that Rocksteady put on the alpha, that NDA has not necessarily served them, in the very best way they thought it would, because there was already this animosity towards the game. So I can understand them putting an NDA because they didn't want people to go out there and start tarnishing everything. So they decided that they would try a controlled environment. This is the problem with video game marketing too that I have. They want to control the entire narrative when instead, if the game is a niche game, they ought to lean in on the fandom to organically push the narrative from the fandom's perspective. But they're also very worried, also very concerned, and so they missed the mark. The one game that got it right in 2023, actually the two games that I would say got it right in 2023 were Hogwarts Legacy and Baldur's Gate. Intensive, community-centric marketing that just worked out so well. The first gameplay unveiling that we saw, major unveiling for Hogwarts Legacy, how many of you even remember? I remember because I thought it was the best thing I'd ever seen. They pulled people who were making YouTube videos for, Hogwarts Legacy, and they sat down in the reveal as the developers were playing the game. This gentleman, Expect to Go, was, I think, the first. He was sitting there reacting to everything he was seeing live as the community was he was seeing it as everybody was seeing it for the first time. Them showing some of the things that they showed. They had showed some things before, but this was the big event. Then they went again and brought another content creator who was seeing it at the same time. This is, in my opinion, how they were, they already won. They won the best-selling game. So I think Rocksteady, can take some notes from this for their next game that they're gonna make. Their next game, they're gonna market it to us. They're gonna market it towards this community. They don't have another community. This is the community that they have. So I'd say take notes. Maybe modify the old school way of marketing video games. It's necessary that they actually start doing that because marketing is changing. Back in the day of let's just call the press in here to sit down and let them hype our game and all that stuff is fading away, my man. I mean, it's starting to go by the wayside. And so Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is going to be that game where everyone already knows where they stand. The funny part, like I said, is people who are coming in 3 years later haven't seen the exact same game. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, look at this game, man. This is gameplay and cutscenes from the gameplay compared to the gameplay teaser from 3 years ago. Basically the same game. You knew it was going to be a shooter. You knew it was going to have the Avengers framework. You knew it was more than likely going to have loots. We knew about loots like when? A while ago, a very long time ago. Right? When the loot thing leaked, remember that? I got a copyright strike for making a video talking about that stuff. I was like, dang. So we already knew about all this stuff. So at the end of the day, it just is in that position where it's like, yo, you're either going to, patronize this product or you're not going to patronize this product. Rather than try to, according to somebody, tear these kinds of projects down. Believe me, somebody said that on their Twitter account, on a comment. It was really interesting when I read that comment. They said, I will continue to tear these kinds of games down, projects like these down, or something like that. And I laughed and I said to myself, man, you think you're actually making the universe, a better place. If you want to do that, pick up some, unclean water and figure out how to make clean water or something. Sometimes I think we have too much time on our hands. And I get it. We need to gatekeep as gamers and all that stuff. But we've been feeding corporations that don't necessarily care about us. When they gave us the things we liked, we gave them money. Those monies made them rich. Now it's time for them to basically get more money from us. So the best we can do is just protest with our wallets. And so I encourage everybody to, they should address Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League with their wallets. Either you buy the game or you don't buy the game. Coming out here to yell about UI and yell about all this stuff, that's just a bunch of hokey, man. That's not a concern after 3 years. You know what I mean? Like, the game is going to drop, it's still going to be here. So at the end of the day, what do? You just vote with your wallet. Some people are going to sit there saying, oh, I'm happy that the game is going to do this. It's not going to do well, blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't rejoice at the downfall of something like this. Maybe you say, oh, because it's a video game that, doesn't really suit you because it has microtransactions and all that stuff. I bet you if we look at your library, it's got games like Suicide Squad 2 that you've played and participated in. Don't come here and pretend like you're some sanctimonious single player gamer only that, never pays or spends money on microtransactions. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just kind of over it. Like, if I don't like a game, if I don't care about a game, if a game is not, in my wheelhouse, I just kind of bounce. So you don't even hear me talk about it for the most part. So I think we probably need to take that approach, because the more you all continue talking about these games that you don't want, the more these games continue to get publicity. This is just how you guys push Starfield into according to VGC, third highest selling game on Steam after all of the hatred and negative reviews. Somehow you guys you negatively launch the game into the stars. Do it for Suicide Squad. I mean, keep going, guys. Keep throwing all those, keep talking. You will sell more copies of Suicide Squad. That's what you're going to end up doing, because there are people who don't really know anything about this game, but your comments are definitely, your, so-called tirades are going to give that publicity to the game. You may think, yeah, you don't understand how, maybe you do. You understand how gaming works, but you fail to realize that it does not revolve around you. You're one consumer out of millions. So if you really want to change, I think the best way most gamers can actually change, and I made this argument for the longest time, is to actually be creatives themselves. That way they can make, serious change in the industry, because they can put up works that can challenge, whatever it is that they think that they're against. It's usually the way to go. But, my time is just to talk about this briefly. I appreciate you guys' time and audience, and let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.